Well, my Exulon Nostilla and Aberration mercenary have arrived. This is the 80mm Super Heavy, the free model for having a yearly subscription to the Warmachine app. Actually, super quick arrival. I mean, it just popped up with a code like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. Within a couple days, I got a like being worked on notification, and within like 2 days of that, I got a shipping notification, and with just a couple of days after that, it arrived at my door. So this is a typical sprue situation, which I believe might be one of the first ones that I've seen from, well, no, that's a lie. The scum, the troll and chimera box, they were on sprues like this. This is the new plastic. This guy's humongous. I would love to have a, let's just look at the sprues right here. Now I've printed up all the cephalic stuff, the dark operations. I've only played a couple games with them. They are not my main focus. It was basically just, you know, $10 a month. I get all the STLs, I might as well print them. And honestly, lately I've really been trying to give it some thought as to if I plan to take them seriously or not. I mean, part of me thinks it would be real fun to just spam a bunch of monstrosities. I think in general, monstrosities are just amazing, to be honest. They get focus from taking damage. They don't lose their focus from turn to turn. They run for free. I just think they are awesome. Mechanically, just for the simple fact of being a monstrosity. And I do love how they have like the whole thrall look, the mechano thrall look, all the monstrosities. Yeah, this guy's gonna be humongous. That's just his back. Let's take a look at the picture again. He's a beefy boy. It's awesome. Look, the scissor claw. It's pretty cool. And a big old hammer. He's pretty rad. Let's take a look at the card and see what we think. Exulon Nostilla, Mercenary Solo. So this package comes in at 20 points. So it's a lot, but you get the solo and then you get the super heavy. 10 health, true mercenary, works for any army. Has Pathfinder, Eyeless Sight, and Dual Attack. Speed 6, Arcane Attack 6, Mat 6, Rat 6, Defense 16, Armor 14, Arc 5, Control 12. Defense 16 is really nice. The Arc 14, if anything gets you that defense, they're probably going to take them out. So you're going to have to keep this guy safe. Has anatomical precision. When his melee damage rolls fail to exceed the arm of living models, they just suffer 1 damage point. And then they can't make a tough roll, which is maybe even the more important part of that. Anatomical precision is pretty good, but you don't want this guy melee. He has awe. While within 5 inches of this model, living enemy models suffer -2 to attack rolls. That puts his defense at pretty godly levels if you're facing against living enemy models. It's a journeyman warcaster. It's not a warcaster or a leader, but has the following rules. Blah, blah, blah. I assume you guys know how journeymen work. Limited battle group, it just takes the aberration with him and that's it. It has Succor. If this model is directly hit by an enemy ranged attack, choose a friendly, non-incorporeal warrior model within 3 inches of it to be directly hit instead. That model is automatically hit and suffers all damage and effects. Not a bad ability. Super high defense, and then having Succor should help try to keep this guy alive. Has Vitalizer as an action, range 6, target friendly monstrosity. If the monstrosity is in range, it gains 1 focus point. That's a great ability. It's friendly monstrosity, so it doesn't have to be aberration. If you're running him in dark operations, he can do the other ones too. You have one gun, Psychic Force. It is spray 12, rate of fire 1, PAL 14, magical with the gun property, the pistol property. Has brain damage, so we've seen this before as a critical effect. This guy just has it straight up brain damage. A model damaged by an attack with this weapon cannot cast spells for 1 round. Really good ability. In my opinion, it's kind of like anatomical precision. It's cool ability. I don't want him in melee. Brain damage, yes, it is a spray 12. I don't necessarily want him that close to something that's casting spells, to be completely honest. Just to lose him in the aberration. You know, I've run the Big Pig before, and they're cool. I like these little mercenary combo dudes, but, you know, it is a big risk. All you have to do is take out this little guy, and they're gone. But brain damage is awesome. PAL 14, spray 12. You can't be mad about that. Rat 6 is kind of a bummer, but it's a good gun. Then he has 2 prosthetic blades, range 2, PAL 10, with inflict pain. When you hit a war beast with this weapon, you can place a fury on or remove a fury point from the war beast. It's a decent ability. It's extremely corner case. Again, you don't want this guy melee with a beast. The beast is just going to turn around and eat him. Boost an attack roll and one-shot him. You know, in my opinion. You got 3 spells. Dark Seduction. Cost 3, range 8. You take control of target enemy non-leader warrior model. You can immediately make a full advance, followed by a basic attack, then Dark Seduction expires. Can only be cast once per activation. You know, Dark Seduction's pretty decent ability. 3 cost is high, in my opinion. Revive, cost 2, range 8. Target 1 friendly trooper model. Return 1 destroyed grunt model to the target model's unit. The grunt is returned with 1 unmarked damage box. Place them in 2 inches. You know, we know how Revive works. And, you know, Revive is good synergy with Sucker. You know, just pass off damage to a dude, let him get killed, then just cast Revive and bring the dude back. On top of defense 16, means this guy could probably be around for a while. Vision. When target friendly faction model is directly hit by an attack, you can choose to have it suffer no damage roll, then vision expires. You know, it's an upkeep spell. You can only have it out on one guy. Whether you have it out on you to help keep you alive, or whether you put it on, say, Aberration to just make him super tanky, you know, it's not a bad spell. Overall, Exulon Nostilla, you know, I'm pretty lukewarm on. He's good. Alright, let's take a look at the big boy, the Aberration. 36 health. He's a companion to Exulon, so this model is included in any army that includes Exulon Nostilla. If Nostilla is destroyed or removed from play, you remove this model from play. That's what I was talking about before. Snipe out Nostilla and it all goes away, so you have to be very careful with Nostilla. This guy, of course, is 80 millimeters. He's got a plethora of abilities: Arc Node, Dual Attack, Eyeless Sight, Unstoppable, the typical power attacks. He's Speed 5, Mat 6, Rat 5, Defense 10, Armor 17. So, pretty poo-poo defensive stats. But he is 36 health, and we just saw a vision spell that Nostilla can throw on him. Let's see what else he comes with. Hormone Manipulation. When he begins its activation in Nostilla's control range, you can choose one of the following effects. Adrenal Surge to give him +2 to his damage rolls and Relentless Charge. You can give him a dopamine boost. He gains Overtake and Swift Hunter. So Overtake, you defeat someone with a melee attack, you can advance up to an inch. And then Swift Hunter, if you destroy someone with a ranged attack, you can advance 2 inches. Or Endorphin Dump, that's your 3 options, and that gives him +2 to attack rolls, which really helps out his Mat of 6 and his Rat of 5, which is pretty terrible. He has Hyper Aggressive. When he suffers damage from an enemy attack after it's resolved, he can immediately make a full advance directly toward the attacking model. Now let's look back at Nostilla. I believe he's control 12. Yeah, you just have to be very careful of not outrunning Nostilla. And then he has impervious flesh, so this is what makes this guy a big beefy boy. When he suffers a damage roll, you roll one fewer die. So he's already, I mean, he's basically being auto hit at defense 10. But he's already armor 17, and he has impervious flesh. You know, they're only rolling one die to damage him, 36 health. Pretty gross. He's going to be around for a while. He's got lots of initial attacks. First one, Saw Catapult, range 13, pretty awesome range. POW 14 with the pistol quality. And Grievous Wounds. On a direct hit, they lose tough, cannot have damage removed for 1 round. You know, it's not crit Grievous Wounds, it's just straight Grievous Wounds. He's only RAF 5. You know, use your endorphin dump and give him a +2 and puts him at a 7. But a range 13 POW 14 is pretty bonkers. Can't be mad about that. Then he has an adhesive blaster, which is spray 8. No POW. So this has a reload 1. It's rate of fire 1, but you could spend a focus point to shoot it again. And has shadow bind, so it does no damage, but a model hit by this weapon suffers shadow bind for 1 round. Means they're at -3 defense and can't advance. So he's only RAF 5, right? But it's a spray 8. So boost the attack roll on an important target, and then you're hitting with everything else pretty easy. That really makes up for the fact that you're only RAF 5 and RAF 6 to begin with. Pretty good little package there. Let's look at his initial melee attacks. He's got Hydraulic Shears, range 2, POW 17 with crit decapitation. On a critical hit, you double the damage exceeding the arm of the model hit, and they cannot make a tough roll. So, you know, give him his Adrenal Surge, and now that's 19. POW 19 with crit decapitation. Can't be mad about that. His other weapon, Tenderizer, range 2, POW 19. Beat back. Immediately after basic attack is resolved, you can push them an inch, and then you can follow up an inch. Again, give him the Adrenal Surge. He's at POW 21 with that. He's definitely able to dish out some damage. And then Grappling Claw. He's got 2 of them. 2 fists. Range 1, POW 14. And it has Man Catcher. A warrior model hit by this attack suffers -2 defense and cannot advance while within this model's melee range for 1 round. So, you know, he has dual attack. You know, you can get cute and hit someone with a Shadow Bind Adhesive Blaster, then hit them with the Man Catcher, and now they're at -5 to their defense. And you are just smacking them with, you know, in that case, you're going to be using your Adrenal Surge, I would think, to get +2 to your damage rolls. You've just dropped his defense by 5. Now your mat 6 is not that bad. And you're swinging a POW 19, a POW 21, and 2 POW 16s. Pretty gross. I think the Aberration is disgusting. You know, arm 17 with impervious flesh and 36 health boxes. He's going to be around for a while. Really good model. You know, the fact that you have to take him with Nostilla for a 20-point package is expensive. I'm not going to lie. It is a lot of points. I don't know how much I would be taking him with other armies personally, but in Dark Operations, seems good. Very thematic. I would definitely run him in Dark Operations.